Hey, music maker, Graham here from recordingrevolution.com. I want to show you a really quick tip today. If you're recording, working on your music, and you want to make the chorus of your song or the hook of your song really pop, really jump out and grab the listener, here's a simple and backwards way to do that. A lot of times we think about what can I add to make the chorus hit harder? What effect, what automation can I do to just make it just jump out at you? And so often, a great moment of a song where the hook hits you and the listener goes, "Oh, I love it." It's less about the hook being big and it's more about the moment right before the hook being small. Okay. You can get the same contrast. I talk about contrast a lot. You can get the same contrast, that small to big feeling, without having to make the chorus bigger than it is. You leave the chorus or the hook at the level it is, but you take the seconds or the music leading up to the hook, leading up to the big chorus, and you make them smaller. You strip them away. You do some strategic things to make them smaller. So in contrast, when the chorus comes in, it hits harder. This is a simple trick you can do in a lot of different ways. I want to show you how I did it recently on a track I was working on. This is already kind of baked into the arrangement. The artist did a good job of arranging it with a little bit of a stripped down moment before the hook hits again. And I want you to hear it the way it was recorded, without me really emphasizing it a bit more. It works a bit, but I want to show you how to make it really hit hard.
Counting seconds till the fallout. Call it crazy, call it civil war. Find the beauty in the letdown. The fire keeps you coming. I'm counting seconds till the fallout.
So it already kind of works. They've arranged it where the drums drop out, bass drops out, and you've got two guitars and just one lead vocal, right?
Counting seconds till the fallout.
And then when the drums come back in, it gets bigger.
The fire keeps you coming. I'm counting seconds.
We can make this bigger, not by making it bigger, but by making this little moment before it smaller. So here's a couple things I did that you can steal these little techniques and use them in your own way. One was to take the guitars right here.
Counting seconds.
And what I want to do is actually, instead of making everything stereo and big and wide, one way to make the hook sound bigger is to make the moment right before the hook be more mono. So I took these two guitars, and for this moment, I panned them in real tight. I didn't pan them completely mono. I wanted a little bit of separation, but it's, for the most part, like 30% left, 30% right. So now these guitars are a little tighter. All right, so bring them more up the middle. Then what I did is I added some EQs that automate. There's no EQ on the track. I like the way the track was, nice and full, because these guitars sound good here. But for this moment on the track, I wanted them to be thinner. So I grabbed an EQ, and I just use, in the stock EQ here in Pro Tools, I use the transistor radio preset. All it is two filters. You can do this with any EQ. You roll off a lot of the low end with a high pass filter. I rolled all the way up to, what is this, 300? So all the low end is gone, and then you take off on the top end. This was everything above about 5.5K. So it makes the guitar a little thinner here. Right? So it makes it thinner. And I did that for both guitar parts. So same thing here on the guitar on the left. And these EQs are automated, which is really simple to do in most DAWs. Like in Pro Tools, there's a big auto button here, and you can say, what feature of the EQ do you want to automate? They give you there's all the knobs basically. And I said I want to automate the master bypass. I want to be able to automate that. So in Pro Tools, it gives me automation for that plugin for master bypass. And you can see that the bypass is on for the whole song, because I don't want the EQ to be on the whole song. I only want the EQ to kick on for this moment. Okay, so I've done that for both these tracks so that the guitars get real thin all of a sudden. Cool. So what I've done is taken the two main guitars, brought them in more mono, made them thinner, so they're less big, less exciting, which will contrast when the guitars come back in, full frequency spectrum here and left and right. Right? So that's a contrast. The other contrast I did was I took the lead vocal and we ran it through an effect. So we had an affected version of the lead vocal here.
Counting seconds to the fallout. Call it crazy, call it civil war.
Right, sort of distorted, sort of thinned out, chorusy effect, and got rid of, I went ahead and muted the clean lead vocal. So now you're having an affected lead vocal that's thinner, and the thinned out and modified guitars. So now they're much smaller and thinner and less close sounding. The thinner the EQ is, the more top end you roll off, the farther away something sounds, and the smaller it sounds. So we've gotten rid of that. The final thing is when the lead vocals come back in and the doubled vocal comes in on this part here.
The fire keeps you coming.
The fire keeps you coming. I took the double and I moved it over to a track that I already had set up some distortion on. There was a distorted effect on a background vocal in the bridge, which was cool. I already had that set up nicely, so I just dragged the double vocal over so it'd be on this track.
The fire keeps you coming.
Just to blend in with the main lead vocal that comes in. So now what we've done is created a much smaller moment here.
Count the seconds to the fallout. Call it crazy, call it civil war. Find the beauty in the letdown. The fire keeps you coming. I'm counting seconds to the fallout.
Huge difference. That's all we're doing as a mixer or producer is trying to create a moment. And so the chorus already sounded cool here. Why not make it sound cooler by contrasting it to what comes before it? And that's all I did. I was like, what can I do to make this moment even smaller, even more narrow, even more thinned out, even more affected, even more muffled, so that everything about the hook sounds better than it was. Lead vocal is clearer, guitars are fuller, everything's panned out wide instead of up the middle, drums and bass come in, and it's just the game of contrast. So it was another example I wanted to show you. When you're thinking about recording, think about this in the recording stage, so you don't have to wait till the mix stage to do this stuff. But when you get to the mixing stage, you can enhance your arrangement a bit by making this even more of a contrast, and it just gives you such a payoff when you get the before and after. So let's do the before, and then we'll do the after.
Counting seconds to the fallout. Call it crazy, call it civil war. Find the beauty in the letdown. The fire keeps you coming. I'm counting seconds to the fallout. Counting seconds to the fallout. Call it crazy, call it civil war. Find the beauty in the letdown. The fire keeps you coming. I'm counting seconds to the fallout.
There you go. And that's real fun. Now, before you go, I want to give you something that will help you create these moments a little bit better. You see, we talked about it for a second. Mixing really isn't the place you want to start thinking about this. I mean, if you're the one creating the song from start to finish, which I know most of you are, you're writing and recording the songs at home and doing it all yourself. You want to be thinking about these moments, creating these contrasting moments in the songwriting phase, and then in the arranging and pre-production phase. And those two steps are critical to getting a really good sounding mix and master, something that you actually share with everyone. And a lot of home studio owners skip over those steps. They think they've written a song when they really just have a song idea and they haven't really fleshed out the arrangement. So when it comes time to record and mix, you've got the song and you're like, why is this song not exciting? And it's because you haven't really baked in a good arrangement. Arranging is so critical. Production is so critical to making a song really be hot and hit hard in a beautiful way, no matter what the genre is. Even if it's a chill song, it's got to have those moments. So I harp on arrangement a lot. And something that might help you is going through my free guide, 6 Steps to a Radio Ready Song. This is a tool that I've put together for people like you, where a lot of people might skip step 1 and 2. Songwriting is 1, arrangement is step 2. I think that's the step that is skipped the most. Maybe step 4 as well, but step 2 is skipped more often than not in the home studio land. And that's the difference between a good song and a great song. And every great song you've heard has been arranged and it's been thought through. And I want to give you this guide to help you not skip any of these 6 steps that every great song has to go through for it to sound radio ready. Whether you get your stuff on the radio or not is not the point, but I'm guessing you're like me, you want your songs to sound so good sonically that they could be played on the radio. So what I've done is basically reverse engineered every great song that I know, and there's 6 steps that they all have to go through. And I've outlined it for you, given you tips for all 6 steps, and given you a map to start following through to know how to get your song ready so you know it's ready to go and shareable. And it's my gift to you. You can grab it for free at radioreadyguide.com. Put the link here right now in the video and in the description for you. What I want you to do is grab it, read it, and then implement it on your next song. I promise you, if you make sure you walk your song through all 6 of these steps, it will sound as good as it possibly can sound. If you skip a step, it's going to be lacking. And you don't want that. I don't want that. If you have a great song idea, you want to get the full potential out of your song, and this is a tool that will help you do it. So grab your copy of my Radio Ready Song Guide at radioreadyguide.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to these videos. I appreciate the support. Hope you're having a great week. Go make some great music. I'll see you on another video real soon.